to episode 12 of Your
Woo!
Ridiculous. My name is Luke. I'm one of your hosts, as always. And with me, just like every week, I have my co-host, the Illuminated Wolf.
Ooh!
I gave you a good one. I had to pause there just to think of one.
For dramatic effect.
Yeah, exactly. Got to keep the audience wanting more. And, got to get the brain fired up.
Yeah, get those synapses clicking.
Synapse. That's right. Welcome back to episode 12. If you didn't pay attention, or if you didn't watch last week, I don't know what you're doing. No excuses there.
Yeah, maybe you missed it because it was late.
Yeah, it was just a little late. A little late as a treat.
As a treat.
As people who like late stuff.
I guess so. Gives it a chance to be first comment.
And we all know that's the most important thing. Last week's episode, just to recap, as we do, was our deep dive into Steam's newest spoopy card game, Inscription. Well, I guess it's not Steam's, but it's on Steam.
Why is it Steam's?
I don't know. It's just on Steam. It is not owned by Steam, but it's on Steam, so that's good enough. Inscription, scary card game. It was pretty good.
Indeed.
If you haven't played it, definitely recommend it. And if you haven't watched our episode,
or watch Rain and give you all the spoilers.
Yeah, do both, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Play the game and then get the spoilers.
Get it double time. Are they spoilers anymore?
Well, I was just going to say, so they're no longer spoilers.
Ah, genius.
Yeah, you got to think ahead.
Not me.
This week we're going to be talking... definitely can't be me. I got all the spoilers and never played it once.
You're an animal.
I know. This week we're going to be talking about another game on Steam called Oxygen Not Included.
Ah!
And then we're going to be a rather shorter episode this time. We always say that, but you never know. It could turn into another hour.
Indeed.
Well, after the, Oxygen Not Included word dump, we're going to be doing Rainy's Question of the Week, which she's not here again. I didn't say that, but it's probably obvious by now.
Oh, yeah.
You know the biz by now.
Hardly her question anymore.
I know, it's our question now. Taking over.
YouTube's Question of the Week.
Yeah, commandeering it. You know by now she's mostly every other episode until work calms down a bit.
Yeah.
So she'll be back next week though. And we have a lot of good stuff.
Special episode.
Yeah, that's right. A lot of good stuff planned. Right. It's just us for now.
And that's more than enough.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. We're a handful as is. All right, Wolf, why don't you share with us what Oxygen Not Included is?
All right. Oxygen is not included. Not a new game. It was in Steam Early Access for like 3-4 years, and I discovered it through a YouTuber, a big 3 YouTuber.
Who will we not mention?
That's right. No free advertising from us.
I've been into anymore.
It for years, since like high school. It's been in development. It recently, maybe 2 years ago, finally finished developing and had an official release. Yeah. And even had a DLC release. Oxygen Not Included is a management simulation survival game where you have a colony that has crash landed inside a planet. And so it's up to you to colonize this planet, one, and also make sure your little colony survives. By hollowing out this entire planet and making it back to the surface. That's
right. It's pretty sweet. Wolf, like they said earlier, they've been into it for a while now, a couple of years. Played the early access and then played it when it came out in 2019. Yeah. I just recently got into it from recommendation from Wolf.
I always recommend.
And it has consumed all my free time. I have been solely divesting every bit I can into it, except for when I get tilted and have to leave.
That got you deep in the grind.
Yeah, mostly it's pretty good. One thing that you actually mentioned that I really like about it is all the all the errors that happen are mostly your fault, the player's
Oh,
fault.
yes. Yeah.
There's not really any RNG that you could get screwed over by. Any mistake or if you forget to do something, that's all on you. It's a lot of micromanaging.
Yeah.
But a lot of the, like, as you progress more, if you don't like micromanaging, there's a lot of automation that you can do.
Yeah.
And so all your micromanagement tasks then get automated so you have more free time to do other things.
Great game. It's never a game. It's not a game I've ever really been mad at. Like, if something's going wrong or I'm on a fucking spiraling into downward, slapping the track on as the train is coming, I know it's all on me. It's my fault. I caused it. I need to fix it.
Yeah, and a lot of the problems so far that I've noticed, I have about, I think, 10 to 12 hours now. You probably have, I know, last time I checked, you had about 85.
Yeah.
And so I honestly just started several days ago, but you're a deep dive. Most of the things that I've noticed so far, problems either come down to not researching stuff and having it ready by the time you need it, or getting backed up by all your micromanaging tasks.
Yeah.
And if you like having to micromanage and plan ahead, it gives you the ability to do that. But it's also, if you're not that much of a plan ahead and you just like are a go with the flow type person, I think this game can work for you as well, because I think it's okay to get surprised by stuff that's happening.
Yeah.
And you can be like, you could be playing the game and me realize that you don't have fucking farming researched. And then you're just like, well, I guess I'll starve.
Fucked around researching garbage.
Yeah. And so something I don't think we mentioned yet is you've never really won the game, right?
No, I have not.
And so, do you want to kind of describe the process of getting towards the late game and how far you've gotten? Because you're definitely way farther than me. So
yeah, I've been playing for years. What happens if I play it for 6 hours a day, 4 days a week, and then I leave it again and come back to another year later, and it's all different again. But definitely a lot better than I was before. When I first started, I was restarting like every 20 cycles because something was going wrong. The same thing was going wrong over and over.
No, not learning from your mistakes.
Not one bit. But now, on my current playthrough, I'm on like cycle 62 or something, somewhere in the 60s.
I think I'm ahead of you.
I've played a few days.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm ahead. My current one is ahead of you.
My previous one was like on 70 cycles, but I fucked up. I had run out of fuel, so I was like in a constant battle of trying to refuel and make food at the same time with only like 8 duplicates because they kept fucking dying. And I think I spent like 2 hours straight trying to fix the issue. I fixed it, and then I fucked something else up and everything died.
Yeah.
I like forgot to connect one wire to a machine. And so I'm like sitting there like, why is nothing happening? And that was why.
Yeah.
But now I'm good. Well, I've got my little group of duplicants. I always start the same, and then I just I guess I kind of have a set path. I always research the same things, and the first few things in the same order. And then from there, I just adapt to whatever world it spawned me into. I'm getting steam power.
Oh.
Very soon. That's thrilling.
I don't have that.
Endless power.
That's right.
And then I've got all my duplicants. They've each got their job. Some do their job better than others.
I think so I'm kind of, my little sort of first couple times, I'm on my third game. And the first one, I only got to like 20 cycles, which is just a day-night cycle, essentially.
Yeah.
They're just shortened. It's, all the time you have in the day, plus the time it takes for the duplicants, which are the little worker bees that you have. We also call them dupes.
Dupes.
And so I got to about 20 cycles and realized I didn't have farming. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll just restart. There's no harm lost. I learned a lot.
Cause.
Yeah, yeah. It's like at this point I could like research farming. Then I would be putting everything else that I have on hold, and that's just not a progressive way to play. So I'm like, all right, I'll just restart. And I realized through talking to Wolf, I didn't have a bunch of other shit that I definitely should have had by then. So I just restarted that. The second one, I got to, I think, about 50, cycle 50, and I was just really backed up. I'm kind of at the stage right now in my current one, my third one, where I'm having to put everything that I want the dupes to do at a higher priority just for them to get them to do it.
Yeah. Yep.
And so one of the things that I've realized is that you really need to plan about what's important. Otherwise, and you can't overload them either, but you have to keep them busy so there's no idle time.
Yeah.
You need to, manage enough tasks for them to keep them busy all day, but you can't overload them. Otherwise, a lot of the stuff that you're attempting to do won't get done.
Ever.
And so I already mentioned I'm kind of at that point again on my current one, which will probably end up getting another 5 or 10 cycles, and then I will likely collapse in on myself like a dying star.
Give it the old Pibby treatment.
Yeah, I have I'm running out of a lot of things that are very important. I'm running out of resources. I don't have wood.
Slow and steady does not win the race in this game.
Yeah, no, you need to be on top of shit. No, which I also realized.
I think a reason I went through so many cycles before and now is because I'm always playing at max speed. Like, the game starts, straight to max speed. I pause, I assign some tasks, start it again.
Oh yeah, I definitely started really slow, and I'm like, and my justification was, I'm starting slow because I'm reading everything, and that worked. That definitely helped. But now that I've like understood like a lot of like most of the hotkeys that I need, a lot of what I'm supposed to be doing, what I need to like priority and all that stuff, I can play at max speed, which I'm definitely like 95% max speed, and then like if I wanted to slow down, I'll just pause. Like I don't even slow down. I just pause it, like you just said, and assign more tasks, do some shit, and then keep going on max speed. So I don't know. I definitely don't think it's correct to play on max speed all the time, because you likely will not use your time effectively as you could. Whereas it's not like the dupes are slowing down. They're literally at max speed.
Yeah.
So as long as there's tasks for them to do, they're going to keep going. But there's probably better ways for the player to manage their own time. Or there's probably a correct way for the player to manage their own time. And I don't think max speed gives you that. However, the dupes are so fucking slow.
Right? Like they're taking a fucking Sunday stroll every time they have to do something. Your friend's drowning in a lake over there and you're just, la-di-da!
So I just literally can't play at not max speed. But I don't think it's correct. At all. It's just like, I just can't not have them run as fast as they can.
It's frustrating to watch them.
So some of my favorite things that I've actually found are, or I guess not found, but have utilized, are the overlay systems.
Oh yeah.
Of the game, and I think they're great. So we talked about a bit about it, and that you're, colonizing a subterranean. Well, you are a group of people colonizing a subterranean planet. And you have
the planet, and you just mashed into it.
Well, you're underground, subterranean.
But what makes a planet subterranean versus normal terrain?
Okay, I guess the colony is subterranean. I guess the planet isn't, but you're colonizing underground, I should say.
Yeah.
And so you have to worry about oxygen, you have to worry about temperatures, getting water, power supply, room layouts. What are some of the other? Oh, decor, making it comfortable for them. What are some of the other
Plumbing.
ones? Oh, plumbing. Yep, that's a really big
Uh,
one.
Plant growth.
Plant growth, different gases overlay,
Yeah, and
and
ventilation.
yeah, a couple other ones, ventilation, stuff like that. And so those are your big things to keep track of, and each section has its own overlay, so you can never really get confused. Which I think is great because it's very easy to be overwhelmed by this game.
Yeah, huge game.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, and there's a lot
Lot
of
of moving
information.
parts.
I think they do a pretty good job, not only with the overlays, but they also have a little encyclopedia that you can look stuff up. They have most of the buttons and uh, items and everything. If you just hover over it, it'll tell you what it does. And so I think this game actually is pretty good being instructive to new players,
Yeah, I think so too.
which I don't
I don't think
think
I.
a lot of games like this are good at.
The only thing I ever needed a tutorial for was automation. It was super simple. I was just stupid.
But yeah, I've definitely asked like you some pretty basic questions, but once I understand like what I'm meant to be doing, it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if I just like read a bit more in game, I would probably get it. But it's also just pretty easy to ask you.
Cheating.
Yeah, a little bit. So I think a lot of it's like pretty easy. Even like slightly more complex things about plumbing and power and how all that works. They have a lot of good in-game symbols. It's just one of the criticisms, and which is all this is kind of building up towards the next topic. One of the criticisms is that it's not that friendly to a casual gamer, which I don't think is true.
I mean, what define like casual? I guess you don't have to play it 8 hours straight like me, but you can stop and start on it.
Right. I think that their argument was it's not a casual, or like it's not for the casual gamer because you're not going to spend like 15, 20 minutes playing.
Well, by that logic, Candy Crush is not a casual game because people get into that and play that for hours.
Candy Crush is only for the hardest of core gamers.
That's right. Capital G gamers
You hear that,
with the
Facebook
Z.
mom? You're a gamer now. I guess another sort of like classification was there's just a lot to learn from the onset, and that's generally not for a casual gamer.
I guess. Yeah, I guess that's a way. If that's how some people see casual.
Sure,
I mean,
and I don't know I necessarily agree with all of that, but I guess classifying what makes a casual and not casual gamer is a whole different topic. But I think this game is actually not that bad for if you're like jumping headfirst, not really knowing much about it, because that's essentially what I did. Like
yeah.
you've been ranting and raving about it for a couple years now, and I never really had the time or interest or whatnot. I didn't really look it up, so I can't say I didn't have the interest. But
I think when I brought it up to you, I was like, I don't think you'd like it.
yeah, probably. Because I generally don't like micromanagement task games, I should say, and like I don't like fetch quests and all that garbage.
Wow.
But I like this one, and so I just the whole point. I think this is actually pretty good. It's pretty reasonable for a casual gamer to get in on it because I think it's actually pretty. It explains itself really well. It's not that hard to come up with the answer that you're looking for.
Yeah, also, I think casual gamers wouldn't care about getting to endgame, like the technical endgame of Oxygen not included. They're just there to do their colony and get to where it gets.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm doing right now. And with I haven't been upset when I'm restarting or whatever, or when something fails, because like you do a bit better every time.
Yeah.
And that's really exciting. You get more efficient. You know, you have better sense of priorities. You understand more about the in-game time management and what's important and what's not important, and I mean, I
Yeah,
guess
you get
that's a
more
priority.
efficient.
Yeah, you get way more efficient. And so, I agree. I think that's, a hardcore gamer might want to get to the end as fast as possible, and that's great. But a regular casual gamer is just looking to play a game.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to Rockets once, and I'm still having a good time.
I have no general sense of how far along I am, and I could not care less. It's just fun to
Exactly.
play. It's just fun to play. One thing that we haven't talked about is that there's different planets that you can start on.
Oh yeah,
Now, I
yeah.
don't know anything about them. I've only started on the base one. Do you want to talk a little bit about them? I don't know how far.
Yeah. I think I've tried most or all the alternate planets, and they are definitely harder.
I
There's like an
bet.
ice planet where everything's frozen. There's a lava planet where everything's hot as fuck. And so the way the planets change how you now have to prioritize. Like the way you'd prioritize on the default map is way different than how you'd prioritize on like the low nature map or the high metal map. I don't remember their names, but that's
Sure,
their
yeah.
feature.
Yeah.
There's one that's like barren, but it's got other stuff in it.
And so, yeah, the basic one I think is just called Terra.
Yeah.
And so that one is like, it's pretty basic. It has generally is going to have a lot of the starting stuff you need. It always has some amount of water somewhere that's pretty easily accessible to you right off the get go.
Yeah.
And not too hard of environmental features like low plant life or temperature escalation.
Yeah, and even when they have like their downside, the planet offers an alternative.
And so, I haven't even worried about temperature yet. I mean, the whole colony that I've built up is all temperate temperature, which is just fine living conditions. So I can't even I can barely wrap my head around going to a lava place where I'd have to prioritize the cooling features that I haven't even researched yet.
Haven't even looked at them. Read them.
Nah, haven't needed. I have a space heater or whatever it's called.
You have a space heater, but you didn't.
I have the. I have the I haven't built it, but it's
I see.
there.
Okay, you
I could build it.
researched it.
Yeah, it's available for me, but I haven't used it.
Getting all the luxury items first.
Yeah, well, it was just I wanted something that was like like research trees away, and so I think that was part of it.
I
Because I don't remember ever researching the space heater, but I wanted something else that was like a couple trees down.
got it as a bonus, as a
Yeah,
treat.
and so I have two games that this game reminds me a lot of,
Oh,
and I'm not a huge particular fan of either of them,
oh.
which is funny because I really have been liking this game. And so it's the first one is Don't Starve or Don't Starve Together.
Yeah. I was there when you learned you didn't like it.
Well, I can't. I like the game. I just don't like the permadeath feature about it. And so maybe that's one. Maybe that's a game we can get more in depth with another time. Which it's funny because this game is essentially permadeath as well.
Yeah, it's just on your own terms.
Right, and there's less RNG, and maybe that's why I'm fine with it. But the style is what mostly reminds me of it.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It looks a lot like it. This is
Well, a
by
little softer around the edges.
yeah. I don't know who makes Don't Starve, but this is by Cly Studios, Cly Entertainment, Oxygen not included. And then the other game is Sid Meier's Civilization.
Oh, heard of it.
You're right. Well, and there's another reason why I don't like it is because that game is so much worse for like diving head in. Like it tells you very little about anything. You just there's so many hidden functions to all the mechanics that it's just impossible if you don't research or are not told ahead of time.
I see.
And there's a lot of very subtle things that you need to pay attention to because they're very important. But it doesn't tell you. Even in a tutorial setting, it doesn't give a fuck.
Oh, sounds unfun.
Well,
A game for nerds.
That's why I don't really care for the game. Otherwise, like besides all the hidden bullshit, it's pretty fun. But it also puts a way higher
barrier to entry.
Yeah, but also you have to manage the research tab like infinitely more. Like you can't just do what I've been doing in Oxygen. Is like I've got the base stuff down. Now I'm gonna research all my luxury shit. Or just like, oh yeah, I'll do this and whatever. You can't do that in Civ. You gotta really make sure you need what you're researching.
I see.
And so yeah,
wow.
the barrier to entry is just a lot higher, which is why I don't like it. But I like both of these. These are fun so far. It's a good time. Through. Yeah.
It found a way into your heart.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite things that keep you coming back?
Oh man, I just really like management games. They're like the main kind of game I play. Like aside from like dating sims. Yeah. Like there's one called Vanished where I manage a little colony / like medieval town as they grow. I've got a space one where I manage a space colony. I've got a YouTuber simulator where I manage a YouTube channel.
I have a very important question for you.
Yeah.
Did you ever have a Tamagotchi growing up?
Oh, I did not. I did not, but only because I wanted one. That would explain a lot.
Yeah, that would explain a lot.
I really wanted one.
Oh.
I think I found one on the street one day. Took care of it for a day because it was like old and rainy. It died regardless. Like the whole machine died.
Tragic. Unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Oxygen not included and I were just meant to be from the beginning.
It's a good one. It's addicting. I played it for like 4 hours last night and I didn't even realize that 4 hours had gone by.
It just flies right past.
Yeah, it's a game you can put a lot of time into. It's also one thing, a lot of the reviews and stuff I was saying is like, yeah, don't expect that you could play this game for 20 minutes and then put it down. And while so far that is true, you could just play for like 3 cycles and then go away.
Yeah, that's just on your personal self-control. Don't blame the game.
Exactly.
The game will not punish you for only playing for 20 minutes.
Right. You'll definitely make progress playing 20 minutes at a time. It's just, how satisfying for you is that? There's plenty of other games where you couldn't play for 20 minutes at a time. You couldn't.
There wouldn't even be like a save option in those 20 minutes.
Right, exactly. Or just like you wouldn't make any progress for playing 20 minutes at a time. And so that's another thing I think the game does pretty well. There's a few things that really piss me off though.
What?
And they're pretty minor.
You say they grind your gears?
Yeah, it's some of the AI mentality is really fucking stupid.
Oh.
Like, so if you're building a bridge, right?
Yeah.
Or if you're deconstructing a bridge, I should say. You would think that they would start from the farthest side and work their way inward. But they'll just cut off the access point. Yeah. And they're like, well, guess that's done.
Can't do it. And so bad.
They'll move on.
So I have to like drop the speed down and do it one at a time. One or two at a time.
Not only in the situation that I described, you have to rebuild what they destroyed. You then have to, do what you just said and do it like one at a time, slowed down. And it's fucking dumb. It's really and that's not even like a hard AI programming.
They should know.
Right. It's just stupid.
Oh, the other thing, trap themselves.
I was just getting to that. That's my thing, is when they fucking trap themselves or kill themselves.
They're like, you guys saw this coming. You had to have.
I had 2 dupes that mined themselves out and they couldn't get out from drowning. And they couldn't. I built them like, okay, build this and you can just climb right out. I built the ladder, climb right out, and you won't drown. 5 seconds later, it was nighttime, and they drowned while sleeping. I'm like, you fuckers. So yeah, mostly just
Amazing.
kind of how dumb the AI can be at sometimes, but you kind of have to outsmart them. But
Yeah.
other than that, I don't really have any complaints about it. It's really great.
Yeah, the priority system works really well.
It does. That's a really excellent feature, I think. Not only for getting the shit I want done right away,
Yeah.
just like
And all the different ways you could set priority.
right. You can set like if this is something that needs to be checked, but not every day or not all the time. You can set it a low priority, and maybe they'll get to it.
Yeah.
Or if you want something done right away, you can set it a really high priority. Or if it's something important, like
Yeah.
making sure the oxygen is topped off and all that shit.
Yeah, you can set on like individual machines, and then within like the individual duplicates too.
Yeah, I haven't done that so much, but I need to.
You got it.
I know,
Essential. Maybe that's why
especially.
everyone's always meandering around.
Well, most of the time they're not too bad. Most of the time they're not that idle. But that's something that we kind of there's so much to talk about in the game that we just don't have time for everything. But there's also not only is there a research tab, but the dupes have the individual skills.
Yes.
And so you definitely want to set high priorities and low priorities to maximize the usage of their own skills. If someone's really good at cooking, go ahead.
In the final release, they really changed the skill system than from how it was in beta.
Yeah, I heard it was like a job board.
Yeah, you had to research the job board firstly. And then you put that down, and then you earn the right to assign skills.
That just sounds like ass.
Yeah, that's why they must have changed it to just get the skills.
I bet that it's kudos to them because this is way better.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's all pretty good. I don't really have, like I said, the dumb AI is really my only downfall so far. I mean, I've only played about max of 12 hours, but it's been great 12 hours.
Yeah.
It's been so good that we decided to change today's topic to do it.
Don't tell them.
Wow, it'll be fine.
Inner secrets.
Yeah.
And I've had a good 80 hours. It might even be 100 by now. I don't know.
When I first started, like the beginning of the week, you had 82 hours.
Oh, it might be 100 by now.
You said you had a conversation with a friend. They're like, "What's up?" I'm like, "Playing Oxygen." And like 8 hours later, it's like, "What's up?" I'm still playing Oxygen.
Yeah.
Is that what you did on your time off last week?
I did. I played a lot of Oxygen.
Oh, I have another criticism. So the game is called Oxygen Not Included, which is a wretchedly long title.
It's 3 words!
Right, but the syllables make it very long.
You and these syllables.
It's not an easy game to say if I were to say the whole title all the time. It's also bullshit to type, like if you're Googling something. I don't want to spell out all that. On top of that, you could say, "Oh, we'll just use the letters." I'm not going to call the game Oni.
Oni.
Because that's just not happening.
Call it Oxy.
Well, right. I mean, we've shortened it to Oxygen or Oxy and stuff like that, which is fine. Listen, they could have done something better.
Ah, you leave them alone.
Well, listen, I'm allowed to shame them a little bit for praising them the whole episode.
That's how you reel them back in.
Yeah.
Little
Anyways,
spice, little sweet.
I think any last comments to say about it?
Why, you could go buy it, all of you. You might have missed the Steam Winter Sale by now, but I think it's even worth the full price.
Yeah, I got it during the winter sale. However, I definitely would pay the full price for it. And it's only $25.
Yeah. For a massive game.
For a massive game that you're going to spend... If you like this style of game, you'll spend hours and hours.
Yeah.
Oh, something that we didn't talk about, which I'm just going to mention briefly. The replayability is huge.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Well, obviously, we've kind of gone through it, but there's tons of shit that you can try differently. You can, how efficient you want to get, and like, Wolf's been saying, it's been several years, and they always come back to it.
And there's even DLC now. I haven't even finished the base game.
Yeah, within 4 years. No,
Still haven't seen it all.
Yeah, exactly.
82 hours.
Well, I think that about wraps it up for Oxygen Not Included. Solid game.
Woo, woo, woo. Woo, woo, woo.
If you rate it 1 out of 10, 10 being good, obviously.
10.
What?
Well, 9, because they're stupid sometimes.
Okay, yeah, I would give it about an 8.5 or 9. I really like it. The AI is stupid, but Joshua fucking killed himself in a wall.
Silly little things sometimes. They're in a silly, goofy mood.
Yeah, but overall, really, really good. Alright, I think we're going to be moving on now to wrapping it up a little bit with Rain's question of the week.
Whoa, whoa.
Why don't you read the question for us this time?
Oh, I guess so.
Since Rain's not here.
Yeah. I'll read it in her voice.
Oh, yeah.
Would you go to space if you knew that you could never come back to Earth?
I didn't know Rain was Mickey Mouse. That was like the Mickey goes to Vietnam video. Goofy. Oh my god. Oh shit. You did her so dirty.
I didn't prep. I didn't warm up.
Oh my god.
I just knew it was in that direction.
It's not even close.
What?
You're not even in the right ballpark.
Yeah, I bet. No.
She has a way deeper voice than that.
No.
I can't wait for her to listen to this episode. It'll be great.
I'm gonna clip this part out just to make sure she hears it.
You gotta clip it and send it to me. I'll make a little video for her. And then she can listen to the episode again and hear us planning this. Did you just swat a fly away?
No, he just fell off the bed and it startled me.
Oh, okay. We gotta get back on the rails.
To answer the question.
Yeah, gotta get back on track.
So if you forgot while we were babbling, the question is, would you go to space if you knew that you could never come back to Earth?
A topical question for the space game that we just talked about.
Oh, yeah. Coincidence.
Alright, why don't you answer it?
Oh, I guess. It would depend. It would depend how fleshed out we have space infrastructure. If I go out there and I can't do things I like, then what's the point? Like, it's cool, it's space, but the coolness factor wears off. The novelty will wear off, and then I'll be left with nothing if there's nothing out there.
Yeah, I think I'm in a pretty similar boat. I don't see why, unless it's like, you know, our technology is through the roof and we're just like going to explore a foreign planet or something like that.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm like in a, you know, fucking high-tech suit that like does whatever I want.
Yeah.
To explore and stuff like that. I don't really see the point. Or if it's like something like Avatar, the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Where, you know, we have like mech suits and the ability to like copy the indigenous people.
Yeah, we're doing something fun.
Yeah, something like that. That would be a bit fun. But if it's like, oh yeah, go like rot in a ship for 40 years. I'm like, that's not me, dog. I'm not doing that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would just stay on planet Earth and get the updates from them.
Maybe that gets some people off, but not me.
Yeah, it doesn't do it for me. I want to be doing something fun out there. Otherwise, I'm not going out there for the novelty.
Yeah, I'm not passionate about space in particular, or colonizing space.
Yeah,
I think it looks cool. I think it'd be cool to like visit, fuck around in zero gravity for a bit, have zero gravity sex, and then head back home.
Yeah, my minimum would be like we'd have to have
fucking
like
alien.
My minimum would have to be like, you know, where we have like the technology in the Avatar movie.
Yeah.
Like I'd want to do stuff like that. But yeah, if I'm just gonna be there, you know, as some schmuck,
just vibing.
Yeah, just stay home.
Sit in my little moon pod all day.
Yeah, if I'm like gonna be in space in a moon pod playing Oxygen Not Included, then it's not really worth it.
Yeah, because
plus the question is, it never come back to Earth, so you don't get to see anybody you know again. And so that's
they might come with.
Well, maybe, but like,
yeah,
right? Like some people wouldn't come with you.
Yeah.
And so you're giving up a lot of stuff just to be in space.
Yeah.
So it's got to be worth it.
Vibe in space.
Right. Like, you're just like...
I guess if you're like science, you're an engineer, going in early would do it for you, but...
Yeah, if you're really into that. But I think if you're just like the generic person like you and I...
Yeah.
You know, the schmucks of the Earth.
The casuals. Space casuals.
Space casuals. I don't think it would do it for us. We would need some high technology and, you know, the abilities to fuck some aliens.
Yeah.
Alright, well I think that's about wraps up. That last bit was so awkward because you muted right then. It was like, fuck some aliens. Yeah.
Honestly, that's a lot of my audio. You guys don't always notice it. I'll be like, I'll mute, go like, no, or stop, and then, yeah.
Oh, trust me, I noticed. I just don't say anything half the time. I just don't want to break the wall, but that time it was just too good.
Well, I guess I'll be wrapping things up, and how did you say, take us out? Thanks for watching You're Ridiculous, episode 12. Woo! I am Wolfie, and that is Lucas. You can follow us on our Twitters and socials and Instagrams at ridiculous_cast. Me at Rainbow Does with no W, and Lucas at 7 Angry Wasps Me.
That's right.
We look forward to seeing you another week. Happy late New Year, and goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.